Hello and welcome to the Fray. It is February the 21st, 2013. My name is Derry Husky and I am your host. The Fray is a roundtable discussion featuring the luminaries of the fighting game community. We have a rotating panel of guests and returning faces that come with us every week to talk about the topics that pop up and get squashed like a whack-a-mole game every week in the fighting game community. Joining us this week, first off, we got the bad man himself, hailing from the East Coast, NYC Furby, aka Arturo Sanchez. How are you?
Yo, what's up? How you doing, Dari, and everybody
I'm
else? How you guys doing?
I'm good. The East Coast Cougie from Utah, we've got Martin Blake, aka Blu-ray. How are you?
I'm great.
Oh, you're good? That's Cougie, by the way. But we got the West Coast Cougie. His name is Cougie. Paul Kugler from BrokenTier.com. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, my friends. Joining us from, I think he lives in the Shire, is what it says on my card here. We have Hanzo Gonzo, also known as Hanzo effing Gonzo. How are you?
I am great. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, thanks. Hailing from Southern California, the mastermind behind Cross Counter, we've got Gutex, aka Ryan Gutierrez. Hello.
Hey, Derry. Thanks for having me back.
Absolutely, whenever you like. And then our special guest tonight, former Evolution champion, Mr. She's Cotton Candy himself, IFC Yipes in the building. How are you?
What's going on, man?
That's good.
Chillaxing. Just chillaxing.
It was a slow news week this week, but then today, a lot of news hit the wire, and we're going to go into all of it. But first tonight, I want to talk about Winter Brawl. Winter Brawl is this weekend. It is one of the Road to Evolution qualifying tournaments.
Yes.
One of 5. It was added to the Road to Evolution and was originally not announced as a Road to Evo tournament, but they added it. We're going to start out real quick. I'm going to pose a question first to Yipes. Who's going to beat Chris G this weekend, man?
I mean, everyone is, they want me to do it, obviously, but I gotta go through the fray of the other barraging killers first before I even think about Chris. So that's how it always usually goes down. But I mean, there's a lot of killers that's gonna go. You got PR Balrog, Justin Wong. I know Justin's hungry to get him. A couple of more East Coast guys there. Ray, the regulars, Moons. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be a good one. But to answer that question, yes, if I get to him.
How do you feel about the chances of your teammates going into this tournament this weekend? I know that Dominion has been having some...
and Dominion, yeah. You mean just in general, like Street Fighter, Marvel?
Well, Marvel specifically.
Oh, Marvel specifically. Kev, he's more of in a crisis to look for like a third character, but he'll do very well. He always does. At the NEC, he got third next to me and Chris G, so it's a good thing. Marlon Pie, a little less swag. And more efficiency, and it's a good chance he could probably win the tournament also. So,
all right.
But I think they'll do pretty well.
Arturo, the East Coast Tekken scene has been putting in work. They are holding it down for Tekken Tag 2 with things like the Iron Fist League. I know that you have been heavily involved in that. Anakin has been primarily involved in that as well. Is the East Coast ready to rep Tekken Tag going into Winter Brawl this weekend?
Yeah, I've already seen like the pre-regs thanks to Min. Like there's at least I believe there's at least like a 64-man bracket for Tekken already signed up pre-regged. I mean, I wasn't expecting crazy numbers, but the fact there'll be like legitimate Tekken tournament like at Winter Brawl is really nice. So look forward to that. It does seem to be very like Northeast heavy. Like I don't see any of the heavy hitters from the South coming, but it's still going to be a good tournament, I think.
Right on. Kugi, going into this weekend, do you think this is a chance for Dominion to win his first Street Fighter 4 major of the past year? Going into Winter Brawl, it looks like the bracket maybe, I don't want to say a weak bracket, but I know the Infiltration probably won't be in attendance this weekend. No offense to any of the other players in the bracket, but without Infiltration there, do you think that the table is set for Dominion to walk away with this thing this weekend?
Yeah, definitely. I think he realizes some of his weaknesses, and he's been working on them a lot. And
I'm sorry.
Been trying to...
Let me correct myself here. He did win NEC, but going into this, do you think he can win this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, he's the only place for him to go is up at this point. It's like he's figuring out counter picks for the bad matchups that he has, and it's just like it's his to win, in my opinion.
So,
How much of his time is focused between Street Fighter and Cross Tekken?
I can actually answer that. He's been playing more Cross than Street Fighter, from what I've seen. Because I go online, and I always see him play Cross Tekken, so he's definitely putting a lot of time in Cross.
Yipes, do you think that he has a shot at winning Cross Tekken at Winter Brawl this weekend?
I'm not saying yeah, but there's gonna be a lot of killers, man. East Coast been playing that game a lot, like heavily ever since the game dropped. So
No, I think
besides,
Cross Tekken is the
yeah.
biggest X factor right now. Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Yeah,
yeah,
this is-
nobody knows. But I mean, I have my bets on Dominion and Jiron. Pretty much Hyro. So those are the two guys I'm looking for.
Who are you looking
forward
forward to in AE this weekend? Outside of your teammate Dominion, who are you looking forward to this weekend?
I want to see how Eduardo has stepped up as Fei Long. See how it has stepped up. Because stepping off from his comfort zone from Brawl to Fei Long, that's very interesting to see Eduardo like switch his character style. So I want to see how he does.
Speaking of Eduardo, Hanzo Gonzo, how do you feel about PR Balrog's chances in Marvel this weekend, flying out to the East Coast? I was in a conversation earlier today on Skype where a group of people referred to him as untouchable right now. Do you think he's got a good shot winning this thing, going out traveling east this weekend?
I think if Yipes doesn't beat Chris G, then Rog will do it. Either one of them will be the only ones that could probably touch Chris G. Maybe Ray if he's like not sick that day or something. But PR Rog has he's going into it winning SCR, so I think he has the best momentum out of anyone. But it is East Coast, so we'll see how they defend their turf.
Well, you're a West Coast player that has traveled to East Coast tournaments. For those people at home who haven't had the chance to travel to the East Coast, why don't you just give us an idea about how the vibe is different, how it's different competing on the East Coast versus the West Coast?
Well, I went to Florida, and that technically is not the East Coast because geography. But I mean, it's a lot of people. They're very loud. I think the general like scrub level of play is a little bit lower, and they get very rowdy over it, and they just like to yell a lot and shake the fucking ring at CEO.
Yeah,
And-
a lot of heckling.
Yes, a lot of
There
heckling.
we go.
Yipes, how do you feel when you travel to the West Coast, coming into an area where there's not that much heckling? Do you miss it at all when you're playing out here on the West Coast?
No, I'm so used to the East Coast, like straight, like just screaming in my ear, especially Philly. But when I'm at the West, it's like I'm trying to see and expect hype. You know what I mean? I mean it's there, but it's never close to the East Coast, not even close.
And Arturo,
Nah.
go ahead.
No, that's cool. It's cool. Go ahead.
Arturo, who are you looking forward to this weekend in Mortal Kombat 9?
Mortal Kombat 9, like I'm really looking forward to seeing if Rio can continue his dominance. Like right now, since like his main threats, like CD Junior has been focusing a lot on Street Fighter and Capcom games in general. Like his overall gameplay has diminished in MK9. So at this point, I pretty much think it's gonna be like who can beat Rio. Like he's been unstoppable like the last like 8 or 9 like major tournaments. So like I just want to see if anybody can actually beat him because like it's getting kind of ridiculous now. It's like on some Justin Wong shit.
And to be on the racist side, you know, I am a Dominican, so of course I want to see the CD Junior or Maxter, two of my Dominican eating brothers. I mean,
All right.
Platano eating brothers. I mean, excuse me.
I was like,
Actually, yeah, I'm bugging.
Freudian
Yeah, so I actually want to see Maxter beat Rio. Rio has been putting a foot in his ass for quite some
I
time.
agree. Actually,
So I
like,
wanna see.
at the last tournament that Maxter and Rio played at, Maxter got 6-0'd by Rio.
Yeah,
So-
that's pretty much his demon right now.
Yeah, he's beasting.
Yeah,
Well, it sounds like Rio is a lot of people's demon right now.
Yes, he is. He's using the best character, and he has the best execution out of anybody right now.
A final question about Winter Ball. Yipes, do you feel like this could be Justin Wong's shot at maybe capturing some momentum going into Evolution? A lot of people have been talking about Justin's performance in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and they're saying that maybe he's not performing to the level that they're used to seeing from him. He has won some tournaments, but he's not really dominated the game. This could be a good chance for him to take something under his belt and take it with him to Vegas. How do you like Justin's specific chances coming into this weekend?
Well, it's interesting because first and foremost, you do want to see the Justin One versus Chris G fight, right? But the same thing that you asked me is pretty much goes for him. He has to go through the barrage of a lot of players. You know what I mean? So you got Eduardo. That's pretty much, even though Chris G has beaten Justin, but the Eduardo is definitely his demon right now, most definitely. So he got to go through Eduardo to pretty much try to have a good chance. You
Right
know what I
on,
mean?
right on.
So yeah, because I mean he did win last year. He did win Winter Brawl last year. So let's
Right.
see. You know what I mean?
We'll see how he
Help
does
him
this
out.
weekend.
Yeah.
You guys can check out Winter Brawl on twitch.tv/Team Spooky, I believe. Arturo, that's right. It's on the Team Spooky
Yes,
channel.
yes.
Okay.
It's on the Team Spooky channel. Like, there's also going to be multiple streams. Like, 8-Way Run is also streaming. Beefy Techie is also streaming as well. Stick Bug is streaming the anime games as usual. Combat Network is streaming Mortal Kombat. It's going to be a crap load of streams there. Like, I hope everybody has their 4G cards ready.
Right
Pretty
on.
much.
So you guys can check out the stream schedule, I think, at winterbrawl.com. And you can check out individual games based on your preference and your taste at each individual streamer. You've got the Capcom games at Team Spooky. The Combat Network is going to be bringing you guys Mortal Kombat. Stickbug will be bringing you guys anime games at twitch.tv/Stickbug, but it's Stickbug with a 1 instead of an I. And then 8-Way Run is going to be bringing you guys Tekken. What are they streaming?
I believe usually it's 3D games. So yeah, so I
Right.
would believe that it would be Tekken and like a DOA.
Right on.
And like I'm not sure what Beefy Techie's streaming. But like, yeah, he's definitely going to be there. But like, yeah, he's going to be streaming something. I'm not sure.
Is Smash Brothers there this weekend?
I think
Uh,
so. I actually think so.
All right.
I'm
Well,
not sure.
for those of you guys trying to catch Smash, you're going to have to hop around because I'm not entirely sure who's streaming it, but it'll be there. All right. Well, speaking of earlier, I did mention that Infiltration most likely not going to be in attendance at Winter Brawl. The news today, the best player in the world right now is officially opting out of his. I don't know. Well, we don't know the details specifically of what's happening, but he is no longer with his former sponsor, Western Wolves, and he has not commented on where he is headed. I'm going to direct this first question to Gutex, aka Ryan Gutierrez. Were you surprised at all to hear that Infiltration had left his deal?
I was not surprised, but if you think about it, the advantage of being a sponsored player is that you don't have to pay for travel, and best case, you're also getting salary. After you win the amount of money that Infiltration has won over the past year or year and a half, maybe, he definitely can afford to pay for his own travel. And this sounds to me like they weren't really doing anything additional for him. Like maybe, he didn't have somebody else trying to shop him around and get him like endorsement deals. Like Infiltration endorses Sprite, like
Right.
so he didn't have any of that. There's no reason for him to stay. I'm pretty sure if he was getting salary or something, then that would have been a factor, but I don't think it was. So it's not surprising.
Do you feel as if this is perhaps a fumble on the part of Madcast that maybe they didn't push him hard enough? Like Daigo has had opportunities to work with Square Enix and endorse their arcade games. Do you feel like maybe there wasn't enough done with him to get him to a position where he could have been leveraged more effectively, seeing as he's pretty much the best player in the world right now?
I don't know what the relationship is between Mad Cats and Western Wolves, so I don't know if that's really like their responsibility to do that. But I believe that he and Laugh make a really good team, and I think that Laugh can definitely help point him in the right direction, and I won't be surprised if that's what ends up happening. If they end up doing their own thing and get other companies, especially like Korean companies, on board. Because if he's, for example, with like I don't even remember who I was having the discussion with, but if Infiltration is looking at his notes, like why should it not be like a brand new Samsung phone that they're pushing,
Yeah,
because he's
that's
like
smart.
sponsored by Samsung,
Right.
yeah, it's smart. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, because he's definitely put himself in a unique position that nobody else in fighting games has done yet, which is that he doesn't need a sponsor to continue what he's doing, and he is literally the best right now. So
That's true.
shout outs to him for kicking so much ass.
So
Cookie,
much
do you-
culo.
Yeah. Cookie, do you feel like do you agree with Ryan there that maybe he's in a position right now where doesn't really need a sponsor? He can just stick his middle finger up and do what he wants?
Pretty much. I mean, what can a sponsor do for him? And from my point of view, what Ryan said is right on the money. And another thing to point out here is that he's a Korean player living in Korea. He's the best player in the world. He can do whatever he wants. If he wants to start his own esports organization and stop playing, he can do that, and it would have credibility. If he wants to bring another esports team into the fighting game scene, he can do that. You know, like he really has a lot of control in this situation.
Hanzo, the primary rumor right now is that he's going to sign with Evil Geniuses. As a sponsored player, do you think? I mean, like, what would they have to offer him at this point to get him to sign with a new organization? Like, what do you think these guys are willing to put down?
For Infiltration specifically, since he is basically the best player in 2 games in the entire world, they'd have to do salary and maybe even include him more into the esports side of things than like Justin or Flo have. Because if you see like Evil Geniuses marketing or their like commercials or whatever, Justin Wong, Flo, Balrog, Ricky are never in them. So I feel like if they're going to get such a high profile player who's like the best in the world, bar none, they're going to have to include him in more things and basically pay him a lot more money.
Following off that question, I should point out to everybody listening that that's just a rumor. It's not confirmed at all that he's going to EG. There is no official word, but the primary rumor making the rounds right now, that name's been thrown out there. But Arturo, do you have to agree with Hanzo there that pretty much anybody who wants to shop at Infiltration right now is going to have to bring something to the table that it's like almost at this point like unheard of as far as what has been offered in sponsorships before?
Yeah, like I do think that if Infiltration gets sponsored, like he's gonna get, if he switches teams, if he leaves Mad Cats, like EG's gonna have to pay him like a lot. And I think at this point, Infiltration is on top of the world. Like he should keep playing and not do like all the extra like esports like sponsorship stuff. Let like his managing team handle that. So I think based off that, like he's either gonna be in EG or Markman will pull some Illuminati moves and cut Infiltration. Well, Laugh Filtration. Another thing you guys didn't mention is that like these guys are obviously a package. So I think that any deal that's going to come to the table is also going to include Laugh. And I think that's smart because he speaks English really well and he can communicate like on what Infiltration wants to say. So we'll see. But I think it's pretty much between like those 2 teams. And don't be surprised if Markman makes a power play for him to stay Mad Cats.
So yeah, I just had a thought. Sorry, can I interject for just like 1 second?
Please.
Yeah, go for it.
Doesn't Laugh already own a company?
He does.
Yep.
So wouldn't it make sense that they become business partners?
Yeah.
Because Laugh, he handles the parts that Infiltration might not be good at. It would make a lot of sense to me that would be an incredibly powerful partnership.
What company does Laugh own?
Powerful.
Itoki?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like joystick parts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Makes a lot of sense.
I think like Art said, they're kind of a package deal, you know, and I think that there's no reason to try to split that up because that could definitely impact. I think that could impact performance.
They're too powerful together because not only because having a coach, especially one that's as good as Laugh, you don't have to be the best player to be an excellent coach. And I think Laugh, like he's a great player, but he's an even better coach. So like they have to be a package deal, in my opinion.
Well, I want to reiterate that Laugh is not a slouch. Like this guy is the top 8 caliber player on his own. You know,
Absolutely.
So and if you're able to put down the Gouda to pick up Infiltration, and you're going to pick up Laugh as a part of the deal, I mean that's a BOGO and a half. I mean that's a good deal. So we'll see what happens. I have to think that there's some plan in the works. I can't believe that Infiltration would just walk away from his deal without having something on his mind. Whether or not it's signing with another company or doing his own thing is going to be played out, but we'll see in the coming weeks to come. But speaking of sponsorships, we have IFC Yipes tonight, and we're going to talk a little bit here tonight about sponsorships and sponsored players. We also have Hanzo Gonzo in the building, so we have 2 sponsored players, and then we also have Gutex, who is coming from a sponsored background as well. So we have a panel tonight that is very familiar with the world of sponsored fighting games. My first question is going to go to Yipes. Let me just get you to tell everybody listening today a little bit about what it's like to be a sponsored player. Like, how is it different going from being just Yipes to being BT Yipes?
I mean, it's nothing really too different. It's just I'm representing a movement, a great movement. And I get to see the world more, you know what I'm saying? And it's a beautiful thing, you know? Back in the day when I wasn't sponsored, I would just pick and choose what tournaments I would go to. So pretty much it was like I would go to, obviously, all the East Coast tournaments, EVO, and then Caesar's Beatings. This was pretty much when the Marvel 2 regime was going on. So it pretty much would have been the same thing if I wasn't sponsored. So, but now that I'm sponsored, you know what I mean? And I'm with a good pal, you know what I mean? Coogie's not only like a sponsor, you know what I mean? He's a good friend of mine. So everything makes everything more comfortable for me, you know what I mean? I can actually go see the world more, be on the West Coast more. You know what I mean? That's one thing that I really wanted to do. And yeah, man, that's pretty much it, man. I can see the world more, see more familiar faces. It's a beautiful thing. I'm really happy about it.
I don't want you to name any names. You don't have to do any of that stuff. But did you turn down anybody else shopping towards you to sign on with Broken Tier? Did you wait for that team that was going to be the best fit for you?
Actually, there was a lot of offers, but it wasn't no movement, really. It was just, here, guys, take this money and just fucking run with it, you know what I mean? I don't really want to do that, you know what I'm saying? I really want to put my worth and my value into something I could work on, you know what I mean? So definitely, I really saw that with Broken Tier, so that was a beautiful thing.
Well, I definitely think that it's been beneficial for the fighting game community. Coogie, how have you felt being able to leverage having Yipes on brands and transforming that into things like the t-shirt line, the hats, and then the Curly Mustache Tournament series? Like, how has that worked out for you?
I mean, it's cool. I don't know, like the clothing stuff, the more I got into it, when I started, I was excited about the clothing prospects and like the partnership, because when I started Broken Tier, I wanted to do like, you know, the Mango Sentinel shirt and this and that, but I didn't want to do it without his permission. And then he contacted me and we started working together. And then over time, we've evolved the team and like what the business is about into something that's more than just clothing, you know, and that was like the Curly Mustache, the Fight for Youth, you know, sponsoring tournaments, things like that. And it's just cool because I can work with Yipes and the team on these kind of things, and it becomes something better than just like, oh, it's a business, you know?
Exactly.
Gutex, you have had some experience with working beyond just the tournament with a sponsor to create something more than that. Do you feel as if this is sort of the next evolution in sponsorships going forward, is going to be doing something more like what you do, where you're creating content for a brand, representing a brand, etc.?
Yeah, absolutely. I think creating content for your sponsor is something that is going to become more of the standard going forward. You can see it a little bit with Broken Tier, with the relatively new YouTube channel. You don't see it as much with EG and with Complexity, but you do see it every now and then. I think that's something that's going to pick up because I guess it kind of just depends on the sponsor, but you know, if you're going to shell out the money to fly out players to different events, and you know, it's nice to see your logo or your brand on, you know, the top 8 finalists, but at what point does that translate into like the bills being paid? Like if I sponsor a player and he gets like 3rd place, what does Cross Counter get out of that? You know, aside from, oh, like people think that's cool, like who cares? People thinking it's cool doesn't pay the bills. So, but content does. You know, using a product that you can create content around. Like for example, if Filipino Champ is making videos showing people how to play Marvel, which, you know, he's done, and then at the end it says, oh, like use this coupon code to buy the, you know, the headphones that Champ was using, which makes him a better player or whatever, however they spin it, then now you're seeing real ROI on your investment.
Use coupon code AGE Filipino Champ to take 15% off your purchase.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
That's basically why Fnatic is sponsored. is just to sell headsets.
I mean, real talk. I mean, I think that is a good point. I think sometimes we've seen, at least here in the beginning, it's. I think people are having a hard time figuring out how to leverage it correctly. It's been a little ham-fisted from, especially from the AGE side, in my opinion.
That's go ahead. Sorry, go.
No, it's just, it's a bit much, but I definitely see where you're coming from, where you got to have a little bit more synergy between brand and player. And I think, not to sound like I'm kissing ass to the people who are on the show tonight, but I definitely feel as if Broken Tier has gotten ahead of the pack and done some good things here at the beginning of that, by leveraging Yipes' notoriety with an up-and-coming brand like Broken Tier to create things like, Curly Mustache, which is more than just one guy sitting at a tournament. It's now becoming, an event that's focused around a brand that helps promote players. It's really leveraging everybody together. I want to direct a question to Arturo, though, bouncing off of something that Gutex has said here. Do you feel, as a person who is at the cutting edge of content creation and, VOD and streaming and such, that maybe Creative and EG are a little bit behind the curve here with synergizing between player and brand, creating content like what you're seeing from Broken Tier?
Well, like it all depends. It all depends, like, on the deal of, like, about what their contract is. I mean, I'm not sure, like, what the deal is with EG's contract. Although, like, I've heard, don't quote me on this, it's just like a rumor. Like, I've heard that they're actually, like, not allowed to create, like, YouTube channels, or if they do create content, they have to give it to EG. No, I do agree. Yeah. I do agree that is something that, like, creative and EG, like, should look into, but I think that, like, their nest egg is in other places, so they're not worrying about it right now. They're making so much money with their current deals right now, they probably don't care. But that being said, content creation is extremely important, I feel, especially if you're sponsored. It's a two-way street.
Yeah, the way that EG and Complexity's organizations are set up is not exactly the same as, for example, Mad Catz, Broken Tier, or PDP. With EG and Complexity, they're more like agents, or they're more like agencies that can accumulate different deals and get sponsorship dollars from different companies, and then funnel that into providing the travel money or salary for the players. So they're not necessarily focused on pushing on like driving sales to a particular product. That's why you don't see, like, use coupon code EG Justin Wong to get 10% off your Kingston RAM or whatever. It's because it's not structured that way. But with a team that's based with a company that's sponsoring players specifically to sell a product, for example, Mad Catz joysticks, Broken Tier t-shirts, PDP headphones, then I think that's where you see a lot more to gain from content creation, simply because content is just great. It's just free advertising, and you're just driving traffic and sales from the videos themselves.
Content is king, and, like, at this point, like, if you're sponsored by a real sponsor and you're not creating content, in my opinion, you're fucking up.
Hanzo, is your sponsor pushing you to create the content that you're making? You're doing a lot right now. You have your own show here on I Play Winner with a show that sucks, and you're making some really, in my opinion, really good character walkthrough videos on your own YouTube channel. Is this something that you're just doing on your own, or is it something your sponsor is pushing you to do?
It's something I'm doing on my own because I realized a long time ago that if you're not going to create content, then you're not worth much. Because say I do well at a tournament, I get second. No one gives a shit if I get second at a tournament, or people only care about if you get first at a tournament. And that's why I have a stream. That's why I have a YouTube. That's why I'm on Twitter all the time. Because if people don't see you or you're not doing anything, then what are you? You're just nothing at that point. And I don't think it's the sponsor's responsibility to push you to do that content. I think it's the player's responsibility. And that's why I think if you're not willing to create content, then you shouldn't be sponsored.
I'm going to direct another question towards Gutex here. Do you feel as if it could sometimes go a little bit too far in the other direction? I will be the one to throw this name out there. The traveling circus is kind of notorious for being really razor focused on creating a product almost to the expense of its players. That's my opinion. Do you think that it can go too far in the other direction?
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Okay, whatever, dude.
No, I
Like,
mean you don't have to go into it like that, but I'm just
no,
throwing it out
I
there.
will go into it because like I really don't appreciate the way that guy does business, and there's very few people that I would come out and say that guy fucking sucks. But I have whatever fucking text messages and
Yo,
record phone calls, so it doesn't really matter. That guy in particular definitely takes it too far. Um, I mean, if you're creating t-shirts based on ideas or memes that you yourself had nothing to do with, like there may not be anything illegal about that, but it's certainly bad in a karmic sense. And
Damn.
so yeah, you can definitely take it too far in the other direction. I mean, it's like at the end of the day, I think we're all going to look back at the early days of fighting game sponsorships and be like, what the fuck? Not all of them. I mean, I think, like I mentioned, like everything that Broken Tier is doing and like using content to market the product is smart. But there's certainly a lot of other things that look really bad. And I really feel like there's certain companies that just take advantage of the
BLG.
community is willing to throw money at things that are slightly kind of maybe acceptably in some sort of weird, dorky, bizarro world cool. But yeah, shots fired. Whatever.
And like, it's okay, Gutex. With shows like this, hopefully, like we'll clean all the trash out of the FGC slowly but surely.
Dude, you think that they're gone for a while and
They'll
then
try to come back. Yeah.
yeah, and then they come back. But the real problem is that the players just don't fucking know any better.
No,
Like,
they fucking
hello.
let it happen. They fucking let it happen, and like it
Yeah,
pisses me
like
off to
there's
no end.
yeah,
I like
there's
Joe.
so many players that will accept nothing, and I'm like, wow, dude, all I had to do was give you a fucking cross counter shirt, and then we could have done this. But it's like I'm not in the business of trying to get people to do the things
Yeah,
that some
I mean,
people want to do.
I mean, in the future, the best sponsored players are going to be players that are not only extremely competent at said games, but are also business savvy. Basically, like you can leave them out in the wild, and they'll be fine.
Right.
I'm
Those
just
are the players you want.
I just want to pop off for a second. I'm just so fucking disappointed in the scene for allowing this shit to happen. Like, when did it become acceptable just to accept low quality shit and be like, I'm gonna buy this or whatever?
Name
Like,
names.
I mean, a traveling circus, fucking all these other clothing companies that just print on cardboard, like, whatever, man. It's just, it doesn't matter more so of like the quality. It's just like people making bad shit and then people buying it and being like, oh yeah, this is cool, man. I don't know, I'm just popping off for no reason.
No, that's good. And we
I just
try
hate the
to
traveling circus. Those guys are fucking stupid.
get them.
Yep.
Get them. Yipes, do you ever see some of your friends or some players on the East Coast that you know signing deals and getting involved with this stuff, and you just want to just smack them on the head, like, yo, man, what are you doing? Like, do you ever feel just like, come on, like,
I mean, honestly, there hasn't been many that I could look at and just say something like that, because a lot of the companies that are coming up on the East Coast that just started, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know what they're gonna offer to the table to their players, who they have, but so far so good. I haven't really said anything bad to anyone. I mean, besides the obvious, I ain't gonna say nothing. And I think Arturo knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do.
But besides that, no, everything's cool. But I could say about that about some international players that I didn't really expect them to be on certain teams.
yo, that's real talk. And I just want to point out that the main reason why it's good to talk about this stuff, there's a difference. I know that a couple weeks ago we had Kugi on and we talked about the difference between, you know, content creation that's mostly just about drama and negativity, and then content creation that has something to say and it's creating, you know, a positive message per se. I don't want to say positive, but it's not just drama for drama's sake. And I think it, like Arturo said, I think it's good to be able to expose some of this stuff and talk about it and have a conversation about it and a dialogue about it, because it's out there and it's happening. And I think that a lot of times people get caught up in this sort of like, oh, we shouldn't talk about that sort of thing. Like, it's not polite to mention that. And I think sometimes we should mention that stuff, that there are people out there that are taking advantage of other people, and you gotta protect your neck.
See, like,
it's
all right,
true.
so coming in, I'm sorry to interject. So coming in into the fighting game community, right? I really never thought I had to think of the business aspect of things, to be honest with you, right? So I'm gonna quote the great words of the Triforce Game Master. Do, do, do not be a button monkey.
Yes,
That
we were
that
monkey
that
for
is
long.
Yes.
because
We
like,
were-
all right, let's keep it 100. I'm a gamer. You know what I'm saying? That's how I got into the mix of things. I am a gamer. You know what I mean? But as time goes by, like you hit all these buttons, you just feel like, yo, I'm a soulless guy just hitting these fucking buttons. You know what I'm saying? So now that I see, and I could confidently say that I could bring a lot of things into the table besides just playing the game. You know what I mean? But there's nothing wrong with that, just playing the game. But if you're trying to be a sponsored player, I should say, I don't know if that's not the word. Uh, mm, cut me. I'll bring it back. I'll bring it back.
but yeah, you're totally right about button monkeys though. Like that is something like you're trying to be sponsored. Do not be a button monkey, please. Like for your sake and for the community's sake, and that so that everybody
word
can
am I
get better
looking
deals in the long run. Please do not be a fucking button monkey.
Like
Yeah.
last
Yeah.
time I was
Yeah,
on,
the full package.
I brought this up where it's like, if you're going to play games, play games for fun, whatever, but also try to learn from it, because there are ways to make it so that you learn from what you do in the fighting game scene. So if like you have an interest because you like doing technical shit, maybe you start doing frame data. Maybe there's like something you can build off of from there, like Desk doing content. Now he can probably get into marketing or something like that. Just
Yeah.
becoming like a button monkeys is no good.
'Cause, I mean, this is really at the fighting game community at this point. It's a legitimate business, man. It's getting there to that point.
It
We
is
can make some
getting
serious
there.
dollar. You can get that serious dollar, you know what I mean? And coming in from the Marvel 2 scene where we used to just play in holes in the wall and shit, I never imagined seeing it like that. Because obviously I knew about the FPS scene and stuff like that. So I knew that was it. I thought that was the cream of the crop for gaming, that. You know what I mean? But now, you got a lot of mainstream companies trying to get in the mix for fighters, you know what I mean? It's a beautiful thing, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, that's the point that I was going to bring up. Like, I find that companies and people that have been in the FGC for a long period of time, like if you came up playing with somebody and then that dude tries to start a clothing company, like somebody like, for example, Neo, right? Neo's got Underground Syndicate, right? Well, it's like if you grew up playing with Neo, then you have a different relationship with him than some other company that tries to come in from the outside. 9 times out of 10, the companies that come in from the outside have some sort of weird, like, I don't know, weird look in their eye because they see gold in the FGC.
yeah. So it's not genuine,
And
you know what I'm saying?
yeah, it's not. Like
Yeah.
they're like looking to make a buck. And if you look at the companies that are most successful, you'll find that they're the ones that started from within. I mean, look at Mad Cats, right? Mad Cats would certainly not be where they're at without Markman, who's been a part of the scene forever.
Yeah.
Like Kugi with Broken Tier.
Yeah.
This
I was just
is,
about to say that too.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
So
I
as a
I
player
actually
who's trying to
know.
come up, oh, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I mean, as a player that's trying to come up in the world, as if you start to get these offers, you have to look at really like where they're coming from and what is everybody's motivation. Why do they want to sponsor you? What do they have to gain? And then weigh that with what you gain.
Yeah, no, I do agree. At the end of the day, like the most successful companies in the FGC like have been like almost always been grassroots sponsors, and it's usually like it usually all starts like a recognizable face. Like in the case of Broken Tier, like you had guys like Latif, and then it became like Yipes and the rest of the EC squad and Viscant. In my case with Team Spooky, back when I was blowing it up in 2010, I used my name as leverage to help build up his brand, and it worked.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Forgot about Clockwork, but it's okay.
Oh yeah, I'm so sorry. Oh my god.
Shout out to my man Daniel.
Oh yeah, how can I forget Daniel? I'm sorry. I love you, Clockwork.
Yeah, Art, you were the one that introduced me to Spooky.
Yeah, I
You're
introduced
one
a
of my
lot of
first trips
people.
to New York. Yeah.
I introduced Spooky to all the TOs and all the influential players in the scene at the time. And now, like a couple of years later, everybody involved is doing better, and I'd like to see that trend continue.
Absolutely.
Well, let's shift the conversation a little bit away from sponsorship. I want to talk. Now we have Yipes on, and Yipes is a guy that's kind of synonymous with Marvel, and he's doing better and better in Marvel 3 tournaments as time is going on here, especially after the release of Ultimate. So I'm going to direct my first question towards Yipes. Do you feel as if the meta game in Marvel 3 is starting to stabilize a little bit, that we're starting to see the overall game sort of take shape, and we're starting to get a peek at what the game is going to be like 10 years down the road, where, in Marvel 2, 10 years, I mean, like, when Marvel 2 was released, do you think anybody had any idea playing Iceman day one that, it was going to be MSS, 10 years down the road?
This is pretty much how I went down for Marvel 2, right? Marvel 2, when the game first dropped, and now mind you, I can't say much because I ain't jumping the scene since 2000. Arturo could probably shed some light. But based on my knowledge and from what I've seen, everybody, when Marvel 2 came out and the tournament scene came out, everybody picked what they liked. You know what I'm saying? Until they bumped into guys like Cable and Doctor Doom and the chip game. You know what I mean? Then it's been a while that the game was just nothing about chipping you to death, just straight cheeseburger, as how Seattle used to say back in the day. But that's how it was. You know what I'm saying? Then you would look for answers. You know what I mean? And at the time, YouTube wasn't around, but it'll be that one guy that go to that one tournament and be like, "Yo, you seen this shit with Magneto? Oh my god!" And then some guy would put it up in a video. You know what I mean? And and little things like that is what changed the game up. You know what I mean? But the same thing with Marvel 3. Everybody at the beginning picked what they liked. You know what I mean? But now that the tiers are getting to that pretty much the stuff that you gotta pick, now the game is kind of stabilizing. You know what I mean? Because
who do you think are the characters you kind of got to pick at this point?
Now, all right. So if you want to have fun, pick who you want to play. But if you want to try to win and try to get some, like, I guess, credibility or whatever the case, Virgil, obviously, Zero, obviously. You know what I'm saying? Doctor Doom, of course. That's like the new Sentinel. Doom is like the new Sentinel assist. Everybody used to have drones in Marvel 2 at one point. You know what I mean? So now it's Doctor Doom. And not only that, he got 2 boots to come with that in a combo. So, Doctor Doom. Now, funny enough, Morgan can be up there, but a lot of people don't want to take out the time to learn Morgan. You know what I mean? But that's just mainly because people don't want to lame it out. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, let me see. Guys like Taskmaster in certain situations. Who did I miss? Magneto. You see how I'm just thinking about this? What's up?
What do you think has to happen in order for there to be like a shift? Like, what would have to happen for Doctor Doom to not be so important anymore?
I'm actually gonna this is actually Chris Matrix's idea. So Chris Matrix has been coming to my house for the past 2 days, right? So what we did was just to make the game more fun and exciting, we actually did not play with X Factor and we put the damage on lowest. Now, I played the game with him like that literally for like 6 hours, dude, and it's so freaking fun, man. I don't have to worry about, you know what I'm saying, something random happening. I don't know what happened to my characters, you know what I'm saying? There's more neutral game, you know what I mean? The game just becomes more interesting like that. So that's something that Chris Matrix actually want to push. I don't know if it's possible, but I'll tell you this now. If that would happen, then the 3 out of 5 game would be dead. You know what I'm saying? Because I actually had, surprisingly, like at least a little over like 30 to 40 time overs. That's how good the game is now. You know what I mean? When you take away those aspects. But
are you surprised that no tournament in the history of Marvel 3 has run a tournament without X Factor? Are you surprised to see that? Because when
Chris Matrix actually did that.
Oh, did he?
It was just one little thing, like one little nice event. It was the Chris Matrix No X Factor Challenge, I think it was called. I'm not too sure. But Marlon Pie won that for obvious reasons, because Marlon Pie is a cheap fuck in Marvel 3. But he won. He actually beat Chris G in the finals, and this was no X Factor, right? But he just didn't put the low damage setting on. So if it was the low damage setting on, I think Chris G would be unstoppable, man. If that would happen.
When Vanilla Marvel came out, right after they nerfed Sentinel's health with the first patch, I actually wrote an article on I Play Winner where I said that Sentinel was not the problem, because at the time there were a lot of people like, Sentinel's broken. That was like, month 1 of the game. Nobody really had an idea.
And those are the same guys that just like pressing buttons. That's why it was dinged by Sentinel. Yeah, but I know what you're saying.
And I was saying that maybe X Factor was something that we should look at. And I was saying that I would be surprised to see tournaments continuing to use X Factor. But here we are 2-3 years later, and there have been no tournaments without X Factor. It's been kind of accepted. Arturo, what are your thoughts about X Factor? You're a guy who is in the thick of things at next level every week, man. Like, what do you feel about? Let's talk about X Factor. How do you feel about it?
Man, like I'm the wrong person to be asking about Marvel.
No, pop off.
I could speak on Arturo's behalf. Pretty
Yeah,
much,
go ahead.
Arturo just laughs when he sees it happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do just laugh.
He'd be in the back. He'd be like, "Yo, blown up," and all that good shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Arturo, to Arturo, I guess it's more of a comedy factor for him. You know what I mean?
It is comedy because like I don't really have anything directly invested in Marvel. Although long live curly mustache.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Curly mustache is the fucking truth. But yeah, like with the whole X Factor stuff, I just laugh every single time.
I mean,
what do you find so ridiculous about it, personally?
I mean, you know what? Go ahead, Arturo. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna say, yeah. I mean, just comeback factor mechanic. Standard at this point.
I mean, we actually kind of see that in a lot of, well, not too many games, but there is a lot of comeback factor games out there now. But it's nowhere relatively close to Marvel 3.
Yeah.
Hanzo Gonzo, you play a lot of games here in NorCal with guys who like to do stuff like pop level 1 X Factor Virgil off a Helmbreaker and shit like that. What are your thoughts about X Factor, man? Like, you deal with that crap a lot. I mean, but you're pretty positive about X Factor and Marvel 3, aren't you?
Yeah, well, when I'm playing the game, I get hit by a Helmbreaker and the X Factor to kill a character. I'm like, this fucking thing is the most ridiculous thing. But like, stepping back, I think it's an okay system, but they just kind of like overblown it by like 1,000%. Because like, if they just took the power, like the damage scaling off of it and like no power increase, I think it'd be perfect because you still get the speed up combos, you still get like unique things, but you're not just doing like ABC launch Helmbreaker, then they're dead. And I don't know. I like the speed increase just because you get more variety in combos, but I hate the power increase because it enables scrubs to just do whatever they want and not optimize their combos.
Hanzo Gonzo, is that your way of telling Patrick that he is a scrub?
Yes, Patrick is a scrub.
Wow, nice.
On blast. All right. Yipes, do you think there's anything on the roster, any technology in Marvel 3 that we have yet to experience that could shape the game in a different direction going forward, that maybe it's just stuff we haven't seen yet from different characters that people haven't really explored?
I mean, I can't really tell from other characters because they keep getting one-touch kills. So I don't know, man. Like I'll be surprised with like certain characters, like for example, Angelic Shumagorath. Like that shit is pretty nice. You know what I'm saying? Doctor Strange, man. When I started seeing Doctor Strange actually last long in a match, I actually started seeing what he can do. So it's pretty good. He's a pretty good character. You know what I mean? Until it's pretty much they're good characters until they get one-touch kill, except for Shanko. I mean, only good Shanko I've really seen, I think pretty much that's only out there is LLND. But other than that, you know what I'm saying? They're good characters until they get one-touch kill. I think the most garbage character in the game, though, hands down, would have to be Shanko, which is fucking sad.
That is sad.
Which is sad. And I actually like her character design and everything. Like, it's actually good. But
do you think they nerfed her down a little bit too hard from vanilla?
I didn't even know what they nerfed. What did she have that was nerfed?
No, they buffed her.
Oh, did they? I thought she was nerfed. I thought that they took out some of the invulnerability stuff.
No.
Oh, well, they just made her worse.
They might as well just removed her from the game.
They just made her worse because no one picks her. That's pretty much
no one knows.
Tells you. So, I mean, you know what I mean? I can't tell you, man. I can't just you know what this game's about nowadays, man. And you know what? I'm a sucker for this game because as bad as I know it is in certain situations, I still play this shit countless hours on end with guys like Ray, freaking Moons and Bum and stuff like that. It's just fun. And it's more fun depending on the player that you play. So like Clockwork, he makes me want to pull my head out sometimes the way when I play him. Like this dude be going for the gusto and I die for it. You know what I'm saying? But then when I play a guy like Justin Wong, you know what I'm saying? And this is nothing to discredit Clockwork because I think he's an amazing player. It's just me personally, I feel like just yanking my hair out. I think Coogie knows. I think Coogie's seen it. You know what I'm saying? But when I play guys like Justin, there's an actual footsie game involved. You know what I'm saying? I actually have to pay attention to the ground game. You know what I mean? Instead of just panicking and just trying to deck you once and just kill you. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know what's out there, man. It's just survive, man. Survive. This shit is the Kumite now.
Do you think? Do you think there's like? Do you have any characters that you think have like untapped potential
Doctor
that are
Strange,
kind of underdeveloped right now?
Doctor Strange, most definitely. That's one of them. Beautiful Joe. I think he's one of those characters. Let's see. You know what? People probably bite me in the ass for this, but I think Phoenix Wright is really good. It's
Really?
just I actually think Phoenix Wright is really good. It's just that the circumstances of the game doesn't let him get his stuff off. You know what I mean? I think he's a solid character. You know, I won't even say really good until someone proves me right. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
Well, there you have it. If you're listening at home when you play Phoenix Wright, Yipes is ready for you to prove him wrong. So get on your Phoenix Wright game.
no, prove me right that he's good. Not even
Oh,
prove
there
me
you
wrong,
go.
Prove me right that he's good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think he has a lot of tools. You know what I mean? That could really like function well with the game. So
Gutex, do you think that this is a game that has longevity as a viewership type experience? Is this a game that you can build an organization around? Like IPL did not pick this game up. Do you feel like this is a game that has longevity? It's still staying strong at majors, but registration
I'ma
at
tell you
locals. Go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you this. Sorry to cut you off. The game lives on because of the hype, strictly, straight up and down. You know what I mean? This game, when people watch it, there's no golf claps going on, and you never hear somebody quiet. You know what I'm saying? Somebody saying something.
Yeah. It's one of the interesting things about Marvel 3, like especially like coming from it as a purely spectator, that like all the Marvel 2 guys that played this game actively worked their hardest to bring the Marvel 2 hype to Marvel 3, and look at the result. Like shout out to Desmond Pinckney.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Marvel's got a lot of life left in it. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I don't think it's a good indicator to look at like local entrants to see whether or not the game is like doing well, because you have the top tier players that are showing no signs of slowing down, and the game continues to evolve. I mean, I think that eventually somebody will find a good counter to Doctor Doom, and then we'll look back in 5 years and be like, oh yeah, remember hitting missiles? Like, oh, nobody uses that shit anymore. And
well, you've already seen that with Phoenix, right? I mean, like nobody plays Phoenix anymore, but back a year ago, that was Phoenix's game.
Right. Yeah, and I think that I don't think it was IPL's choice to not have Marvel, because I think if they could have, they would have. But maybe it doesn't matter anymore, anyways.
Yo.
And
God damn.
well, hey, I don't make the news.
What's gonna happen with IPL?
What is going to
It's
happen
dead.
with IPL?
It's dead and it's never coming back.
What's gonna happen with the relationship with Capcom? There's like so many unanswered questions now, like with that IPL press release that came. I mean, not IPL, IGN, Ziff Davis. I'm sorry, the Ziff Davis press release.
Well, right. For those of you guys at home that haven't heard, IGN was purchased by Ziff Davis Media, which is a company that does. Well, they have their hands on a lot of different types of publishing. They have online publishing and print publishing, but they bought out IGN and IGN's stable of websites. So that's GameSpy and GameSpot and OneUp. And by proxy, they now own IPL, and they've just come out flat out and said they're going to sell IPL.
They're trying to find a buyer for IPL. Now, keep in mind, when News Corp, aka Rupert Murdoch, owned IPL, he was trying to find like a buyer for IPL for the past I don't know how many months, and this was on the news wires all over the place. So
he was trying to find a buyer for IGN.
Yeah, IGN, IPL. Yeah.
Well, no, because Ziff Davis wants to keep IGN, but they want to sell IPL, and there's like Gutex is saying, there is a difference.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens, because I mean, this is typical behavior for a company to pick up a company that you could say was. You have companies that you pick up on the come up and companies that you pick up on the come down. And if you pick them up when they're like kind of low, then you usually sell off the parts that don't really fit with the strategy, right? But I don't really know what kind of assets IPL has aside from the brand and the YouTube channel. Like, what would they really be buying? Would they have to like change the name? Maybe they can call it. Oh, here's what they're gonna do. Somebody's gonna buy it, and then they'll call it the International Pro League. That way they can keep the branding and everything.
I
That's
also
my
wonder, I also wonder how it's going to affect current relationships or already planned events, for the FGC this year. That's still like a huge question mark right now.
Well, that could be all the news that has come out this week. That news about IPL could be the one that affects the FGC the most, because here, I mean, we were discussing IPL's acquisition of Capcom titles and what that means for the fighting game community here on the Fray less than 3 months ago, and now here we are wondering if IPL is even going to be around in 3 months from now, and if those relationships are even going to be able to materialize. I mean, everybody keeps talking final round X IPL. Is that even going to happen now? Like, it's going to be interesting to see in the next few weeks what's going to happen with IPL. Are they just going to close doors? Like, I mean, nobody really knows. And then IPL really isn't doing anybody any favors by putting out these cryptic press releases and basically just flat out saying, yo, it's RIP status here. Everybody fend for themselves. Women and children, get the fuck out of the way. We're going to burn the building to the ground. Like, I mean, it's chaos right now.
I haven't seen any of the IPL, like any of those cryptic tweets or links or whatever.
Well, they're just basically saying they're going to they're searching for buyers. And
that one. Yeah.
I mean, really, how does this affect anything for us? They haven't actually announced any events. They haven't announced their prize pots. They haven't done anything.
I think they're on the cusp of announcing it, maybe.
I mean, maybe, but up till now, it's all been speculation. We're all just like, oh man, they're going to bring some real money to the scene, but it's like nothing is actually on the table. So why is it a deal? Why does it matter?
That's a good point.
Because Mike Ross. Mike Ross is going to be homeless. He moved over into that neighborhood. He lowered down all the fucking house values now. And everyone's like, we got to sell.
Oh, wow.
Why are you on the show, Hanzo Gonzo? Jesus.
Yo, shout outs to Mike Boss.
Yo, Mike Boss.
The greater force.
Yeah, Michael will be fine. I think everybody knows that Michael will be 100% fine no matter what happens.
Yeah,
Mike,
of course.
like
I'm not worried about Mike.
Talented people are always in demand. You know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happens.
Michael Ross.
I feel compelled to say that Hanzo Gonzo only speaks for Hanzo Gonzo at this point. Jesus. Anyway.
Oh, jeez.
I'd like to thank our guests tonight for coming on to the show. Kugi and IFC Yipes specifically were last-minute fill-ins for another guest that had to bail, and we couldn't have found any greater fill-ins than those two, so thanks to Kugi. You can follow on Twitter at BrokenTier. IFC Yipes, you can follow on Twitter at IFC Yipes.
Yes. Thank you for having us, of course.
Absolutely. You can follow Gutex on Twitter at Gutex, and make sure you follow his branding on at Twitter at CrossCounter. And then
thank you for having me. And hey, can I plug that if you guys are in the LA area and need some place to watch the Winter Brawl stream, that we're gonna have a bar fight stream party, so you guys can come down and watch.
I do have some. Nice. By the way, for those guys listening at home, I have some big plugs. When I'm done with the exits here, do not turn out. I have some announcements. But speaking of exits, you can follow Arturo Sanchez on Twitter at NYC Furby. Thank you for coming on, Arturo.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Make sure to subscribe to my channel, youtube.com/FTC7. CPM all day, yo.
CPM all day.
CPM.
Speaking of CPMs, you can follow Hanzo Gonzo. I don't know why you would after tonight, but you can follow him on Twitter at Hanzo Gonzo.
I just want to say, follow my youtube.com/thewasteofflesh. I'm better than Mike Ross at Dota, 1v1 mid any day. I'm out.
All right. And then I have a couple of announcements. First of all, make sure you guys tuning in to our other shows that we have. We have 2 other shows on I Play Winners YouTube channel that are broadcasting weekly. We have Super Desperation Radio on Mondays, hosted by NorCal's own infamous Clarkinator, a.k.a. Hell Pockets, and our boy Man Chess from SoCal, talking primarily about KOF and SNK-related games. And then we have The Show That Sucks on Tuesdays, hosted by Hanzo Gonzo, and I Play Winners' own Harrison from Starbase, who's also one of our primary streamers, so you can catch them on Mondays and Tuesdays, and of course our show on Thursdays. But the big announcement, and I saved it to last, and I probably should have built it up because we probably lost some viewers, but I don't give a crap. The big announcement, for those of you guys that are going to be tuning in to NCR, we have a dream stream for you guys this year. We've got I Play Winner Cross Team Spooky coming to NCR. 2 streams.
Oh my God!
Play Winner. One to you by Team Spooky at NCR 2013. This year, it is official. Make sure you tune in to NCR April 26th, 27th, and 28th on twitch.tv/iplaywinner and twitch.tv/Team Spooky. I'm super hyped. You guys will be able to see all of your NorCal favorites, some SoCal, some East Coast. It's going to be super dope, and it's going to be brought to you by Spooby Please and the folks here at iPlayWinner. So make sure you guys get the word out. Thanks for tuning in tonight. If you managed to miss some of the program, you can always catch the recap recorded on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/iplaywinner. Make sure you subscribe there, and make sure you subscribe here so you can catch us when we go live every Thursday at 7 o'clock. One more time, I want to thank my panel, and for the absentee Magus1234, yo, Fray!
Fray!
Right.